Announcing a video game in this day and age when you need the massive amount of hype that is necessary in order to maintain a success and create a new success is an art form. Here at GDC we're showing off some very cool improvements to the tech, better foliage, better shadows, the lighting model's been significantly improved. We have a procedural building set for building cities in a very fast and efficient manner with a level of detail and whatnot. Honestly, the epic way for our tech is to work smarter, not harder. We've been very useful and productive with that in regards to our licensees. So whether or not these features will be used in upcoming products, generally it's safe to say that if we put a feature in our engine and we do it ourselves, it will probably appear at some point in the near future. So one could possibly anticipate that. I find motion controls to be very interesting, very compelling. The ones that I personally like the most are the ones that are more Natal-like, that I don't have to have yet another plastic controller sitting on my coffee table cluttering everything up, that I can just fire it up and do very cool movements and have interesting results. As a side note for that, the kind of game I think would be the most interesting would be something that's a hybrid. Maybe it's something whereas, you know, I'm playing the game with the controller, and then your significant other can sit there on the sofa and do gesture-based things, and then two characters kind of interact that way, so you can kind of bring the hardcore and the casual together in a compelling fashion. That's what's interesting to me. I think Natal is actually going to be very big, and Microsoft's using our technology on a number of products to make Natal-based video games using Unreal Engine, so it's just a very easy adaptation. For instance, the game demo where you're hitting the balls that they had at E3 this past year was actually running on our tech. The biggest takeaway that I've had over the last few years from the other stellar shooters that have come out is that first and foremost the bar continues to rise. We got ahead of everybody with Gears 1. Gears 2 we kept that, and with future products we would definitely maintain our visual leadership as well as compelling gameplay. The biggest takeaway for me from a lot of the shooters and where the genre is going is you need player investment. I think games like Modern Warfare and Halo have a little bit of overlap in regards to competition, since we are, of course, both shooters, but one of the things that I think allows Gears to stand on its own apart from those first-person shooters is the fact that we're not focusing on vehicles. We don't have all the guns locked and things like that. We have characters that you can really identify with and have their own personalities. Co-op has always been big for us. You know, you're dealing with you know, giant 40-foot monsters in the Gears franchise, and we deliberately designed and built the franchise so that it could stand apart from the other shooters that are out there. The single biggest disappointment for me launching Gears 2 was the fact that our matchmaking out of the box was very clunky. We hadn't done anything like that before. A lot of the users really felt disappointed by that online experience, and we continued since day one to do title updates and to continue to improve our online experience. Because when I go into online forums and people talk about how bad that matchmaking was at the beginning, it breaks my heart and it really hurts, because we worked really hard on the product. Since then we've ironed out much of it. The online experience is smoother than ever, and we're doing fun things like Ticker Tuesday and Triple Experience Wednesdays and things like that in Gears 2, and the users really appreciate that, and those are lessons learned moving forward. The story of Gears thus far has matched up to what I've always been hoping it would be. Gears always has a lot of those elements in the background of sadness and loss and redemption, and it always breaks my heart that people just identify with the big buff characters and they glom onto that and latch onto it so much, whereas there's really a lot to be said in the background of what really happens in the world. Things that I would do differently in the past as far as how we approach the characters in Gears, it's a very interesting conundrum there, because in the past we weren't that confident in our storytelling abilities, and as we've progressed in the last several years we've become more confident with the things we could pull off. What happened with Ty, what happened with Maria in Gears 2 is something back in the day we would never even have considered, and now our cinematics director is better than ever, our writing is better than ever, our voice actors really know who the characters are. So if I could go back in time and change one thing, I would have Marcus in the first game maybe get to know him a little bit more, you know, let him have a little bit more personality. He was a bit of a blank slate in that first game and came through a little bit more, and somewhere in the future I think it'd be great to get to know that guy a little bit better. IGN, I believe it was last year, did an article kind of, you know, comparing Gears to Halo and saying, you know, if Gears was to, you know, is to make the leap to become as big as Halo, here are the things that we would consider doing. And I would never say, you know, oh yes, we're doing exactly this with any future products, but we do read a lot of those articles. I have a Google alert for the term Gears of War. I'm on forums all the time reading comments, and we are always listening and always keep our ear to the ground to see what the users and the journalists say, and we listen to a lot of it and occasionally, you know, implement some of it. I think Gears still has a lot of growth. I think Gears is a huge, wonderful franchise that's been very successful for us, but I think we can always try harder. I think we can always have better online multiplayer. I think we can make a game that's stickier and sticks in players' heads more. I think we can tell stories even better, and we're perfectionists, and we always want to try harder, and you know, maybe there'll be some announcements in the future that'll kind of tease into some of that stuff.